Hallo?
Ja, det kan nok det over i handen.
Åh, ja, det
er fint at se over. I har lidt i bæret, og jeg vil give ordet til Mark, som vil fortælle om, hvad det er, vi drikker. God Mark. Gå ind, please.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Welcome.
Molten Duff. It's funny how people start speaking a lot louder after they've had a hell of a lot of drink. I was actually quite scared about doing this tonight because the last time I did a whiskey dinner that was similar to this was in Sydney, and we had 5 courses. We had 5 different whiskies, 5 different wines and 5 different beers. The next thing I knew, I was asleep on Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's actually quite a dangerous job, this, because I've fallen asleep in lots of places because of this part. Yeah.
But you still like it?
Yeah, I still like it. A year ago I fell asleep in the Tokyo Underground. I went round for 2 hours with my kilt on, so God knows what happened to me that time. You know.
It's on YouTube.
It probably is on YouTube, you know. YouTube should be banned for whiskey, I tell you, it really should.
Don't worry, we show the Farrier Bridge.
Molten Duff. I've got a lot of time for Molten Duff because when I first joined Duncan Taylor nearly 6 years ago, it was a 1967 Molten Duff was the first cask that I actually chose for the company. Well, it was the first cask that I said, yeah, let's bottle that, and I've been doing that ever since. A lot of people say, you know, is it difficult trying all these whiskies? No, it's not that difficult. You know, it's the difficult bit is trying to remember what you've said about them. This one is a very high cask strength of 40.1% alcohol. So it was just hanging in on there, but light, fresh. After the whiskies we had before and the food, this is quite a nice refresher again. Quite fruity. A lot of creaminess, a lot of sweetness, a lot of fruitiness. It's cracking whiskey, really easy to drink. But Molten Duff is one of those whiskies that you don't really see that often. I think Gore MacPhail, they're a small company in Elgin.
Who's MacPhail?
I don't know, there's some company in Elgin. They've got a shop, I think, maybe.
Has she got a shop, maybe?
Yeah, they sell some wine and some cheese.
Oh,
but I think they've done some bottlings, but we've... it's quite bizarre. At Duncan Taylor we've got 36-year-old Molten Duff and we've got 8-year-old Molten Duff and nothing in between. It's typical Duncan Taylor, nothing in between, you know. So what do we think? Do we like this?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
This is quite an old bottling because it's from when we were actually called the Whiskey Peerless, before we stopped calling it Peerless and then came out with a Peerless range again, just to confuse you. At Duncan Taylor we always like to confuse things. We're always changing things, and then Ewan is typical of this. He'll change something and then he'll, like we bottled a Lafroig 12-year-old under the Rare Ald range, which is just absolutely stupid because 12-year-old is not Rare Ald. The Rare Ald range is supposed to be 17 years and up. And I can guarantee, it was Ewan's idea to bottle this 12-year-old as a Rare Ald. And I can guarantee in probably 2 months' time, Ewan will be round the shelves and he'll go into Michael's shop and see this 12-year-old Rare Ald whiskey. And he'll phone me up and complain as to say, why have we done that? You know, it's Ewan's always changing his mind. It's a bit like when he, the distillery project, the distillery project, the Duncan Taylor distillery project. 3 years ago, I think it was, we were in Tokyo, and Ewan stood up in front of 2,000 people and announced that we were going to build a distillery. He had 1 or 2 drinks at that point. Yeah, just 1 or 2. It was 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
So he'd stood up in front of these 2,500 people and announced that we were going to build a distillery. And that was fair enough. And a few months later I was in Holland at a whisky festival, and one of the malt maniacs was there, and he was asking me about the distillery project, and I told him a couple of things, and then he went and emailed Ewan. The next thing, I'm back in the office, and Ewan gets this email from the Malt Maniac about the distillery project. And Ewan shouts through, "Mark, what the bloody hell have you been saying about the distillery? It's supposed to be a secret." So you can see what I'm working with, you know.
Maniacs. Did it affect the share prices?
Oh, yeah, the share prices. Yeah. Ewan's share. Yeah. I like this.
Yes.
I think you'll find with all these whiskies we're going to try that, you know, they are old whiskies. I mean, all of these whiskies are older than me. I know I look older, but these are all older than myself. But they're still, you know, they're still. They're probably more alive than I am, you know, it's... to be honest, I'll be lucky if I reach 36, but you know, it's... they're still fresh, and that's the key at Duncan Taylor, is picking good whiskies that are still alive. There is a lot of old, and I say this all the time, there's a lot of old whiskies out there in the market that are just old, woody, dull and expensive. And you'd be as well, you know, licking a fence post or a tree because the wood has just overpowered it. But luckily you don't have to do that with these whiskies. Still fresh, still lively, a lot going on in the glass. And because they're non-chill filtered, everything's in there, you know. Chill filtering whiskey should be banned, in my opinion. It really should. People who chill filter whiskey should be shot, and that's just... You know, it's just ridiculous. What I mean, if you were to chill filter this whiskey, it would be really thin, and you would lose everything. But by leaving everything in there, it's much chewier, a lot fruitier, cracking whiskey. Asbestos finish. Is that a new Bruichladdich edition? Oh jeez, I'm never going to work again. I never worked in the first place. Speaking of falling asleep, I actually fell asleep the other week again on a train. It's becoming a recurring theme. But I was at the whiskey show in Leiden, and it's the only time I've ever missed a flight until tomorrow. And,
you're not going home before Sunday?
Yeah, I'll just go straight to Italy instead. But we'd finished the show in Leiden, and we thought we'll go up to Amsterdam for a night on the town, as you do. I went up to Amsterdam, and I thought I'd be sensible and go back to the hotel rather than stay out drinking all night. You know, had my sensible head on for once. The next thing I knew, I woke up and I was in Rotterdam.
So what happens to your senses?
It was quite strange. This guy shaking me. You've got to get out here. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was freezing, standing on the train station. So I finally got on the train back to Leiden, got into the hotel, had a quick shower, packed my bag, and had to go back on the train to get to Amsterdam to get to the airport. Next thing I knew, I was back in bloody Rotterdam. I'd got on the wrong train, so you've got to watch what you're doing with this stuff, you know. Whiskey's dangerous stuff.
Trains are dangerous.
Trains are dangerous, yeah. Never drink and train, you know, it's... There should be health warnings with trains, I'll tell you. Anyway, that's the Milton Duff. Let's move on to our next whiskey.